Hi, this is Brad, and welcome to Brad English Podcast, your daily English listening podcast helping you speak English naturally. Hello, and welcome back to your English podcast. Today we have an episode with very real and very immediate practical value. We are going to prepare you for one of the most important English conversations you might ever have, a job interview. Whether your interview is next week, next month, or something you are planning for the future, the sentences you practice today will give you the language you need to walk into any English-speaking interview feeling prepared, confident, and genuinely ready to represent yourself well. A job interview in English is challenging for two reasons. The first is the English itself, which requires specific professional vocabulary and a certain level of formality and polish. The second is the emotional pressure of the situation, which can make even advanced speakers struggle to find words. Today we are going to address both of those challenges directly. We will go through 50 sentences organized by the key moments of a typical interview, and I will explain not just the language, but the strategy behind each group of sentences. By the end of this episode, you will have both the words and the confidence to use them. Let us begin. The single most important moment of any job interview is the first 60 seconds, and the most common opener is the famous request, "Tell me about yourself." Most candidates, even native speakers, are not fully prepared for this question, and they either give too much information, going all the way back to childhood in a rambling, unfocused way, or too little, offering a flat summary that says nothing memorable. Rambling means talking at length in a disorganized and unclear way. The key is to have a clear, well-structured self-introduction that covers three specific things: who you are professionally, what you have done most recently, and why you are here in this interview today. A powerful English self-introduction might sound like this. My name is Sarah. I am a designer with 4 years of experience working primarily in brand identity and digital communication. Most recently, I have been working with a small creative agency in my hometown, where I led the visual development of several significant brand projects. I am here today because I am ready for a new challenge. And the work I have seen from your studio is exactly the direction I want to move in. Notice how this introduction is confident without being boastful, specific without being overwhelming, and forward-looking without ignoring the past. Boastful means talking about yourself in a way that is excessively proud and self-congratulatory. Each of the three elements, who you are, what you have done, and why you are here, is delivered cleanly and with purposeful energy. Other important sentences for the self-introduction phase include statements that speak to your professional character. I am someone who cares very deeply about the quality of my work and takes deadlines very seriously. Or, throughout my career, I've always been most motivated by working on projects where the brief is challenging and the stakes feel meaningful. Where brief means the set of instructions or requirements for a project, and stakes refers to how much is at risk or how important the outcome is. After the self-introduction, most interviewers will ask you to expand on your previous experience. And this is where specific, well-chosen examples become enormously powerful. The most effective way to talk about experience in an English interview is to follow what is known as the STAR approach. You describe the situation, the task, the action you took, and the result. This structure gives your experience stories a clear narrative arc and makes them easy for the interviewer to follow and evaluate. Narrative arc means the way a story progresses from a beginning, through a middle, to an end. Evaluate means to assess the quality or significance of something. For example, you might say, "In my previous role, I was given responsibility for redesigning the entire visual identity of one of our main clients, which was a significant undertaking because their existing brand had been in place for over 15 years. I researched their market position and competitor landscape thoroughly, presented three distinct concept directions, and ultimately delivered a new identity that the client described as transformative. That project taught me more about the relationship between strategy and design than anything I had done previously. Transformative means causing a fundamental and dramatic change. These sentences that speak to your growth and learning are particularly valued in interviews because they demonstrate self-awareness and a genuine commitment to professional development. The most valuable lesson my career has taught me so far is that the ability to receive criticism constructively, to actually hear feedback and use it to improve your work, rather than defending what you have already done. Medvirken is one of the most important professional skills you can develop, where constructively means in a way that is helpful and improvement-focused. Or more simply, every role I have had has taught me something important, and I always try to leave each position with more skills than I arrived with. The strengths question is one of the few interview questions where you are explicitly invited to speak positively about yourself, and yet most candidates handle it poorly, either by being too vague, or saying something generic like "I am a hard worker," or by listing so many strengths that they start to sound unrealistic. The ideal approach is to choose 2 or 3 genuine strengths, describe each one specifically, and support it with a brief concrete example from your real experience. Generic means lacking in specific character, ordinary, and not distinctive. A well-crafted strengths answer might sound like this. One of my clearest strengths is my ability to manage multiple projects simultaneously without losing quality. I have consistently handled several competing deadlines in every role I have held, and I have developed strong systems for prioritizing and monitoring progress that I find very effective. I think this comes partly from personality and partly from the habits I have built deliberately over time. Simultaneously means at the same time. Competing deadlines means 2 or more tasks that must be completed by the same or similar dates. Other professional strengths expressed in strong, natural English include: I have a genuine talent for communicating complex ideas in clear, accessible ways, which I think is a rare and undervalued skill, where accessible means easy to understand and approach. Or, I am someone who builds trust with clients and colleagues quite naturally. I find that being consistently honest, even when it means delivering difficult news, creates a much stronger working relationship than always telling people what they want to hear. These sentences demonstrate not just professional capability, but the kind of integrity and self-awareness that makes someone an excellent long-term colleague and team member. The weakness question is the one that most candidates fear the most, and it is the one that most candidates answer least effectively. The 2 most common mistakes are giving a fake weakness disguised as a strength. For example, I am just too much of a perfectionist, which interviewers have heard thousands of times and find unconvincing, and giving a genuine weakness that raises serious concerns about your ability to do the job. The genuine weakness answer is structured around honesty, self-awareness, and evidence of active improvement. Unconvincing means not persuasive or believable. Active improvement means you are currently and genuinely working on the problem. A well-constructed weakness answer sounds like this. I think one of the areas where I have room to grow is in delegating work to others. I have a tendency to want to handle things myself because I am confident in my own quality standards and sometimes find it difficult to trust that others will meet the same standard. I am working on this consciously, partly by being more explicit about quality expectations when I assign work, and partly by reminding myself that developing others is also part of doing my job well. Delegating means giving responsibility for tasks to other people. Explicit means clear and stated directly without ambiguity. Another genuine and well-expressed weakness might be, I have found in the past that I sometimes struggle to set firm boundaries around my working hours. I find it easy to keep working past the point where it is actually productive because I am very invested in the outcome of the projects I work on. I have been much more deliberate about this recently, partly because I have seen that my best work actually comes when I am rested rather than exhausted. Invested means emotionally and professionally committed to something. Deliberate in this context means careful and intentional in your behavior and choices. One of the most overlooked aspects of job interview preparation is the question phase at the end, when the interviewer typically says, "Do you have any questions for us?" Many candidates, exhausted and relieved to be near the end, say, "No, I think everything has been covered, thank you." And in doing so, they miss one of the most valuable opportunities in the entire interview. The questions you ask at the end of an interview reveal your priorities, your level of preparation, and the depth of your genuine interest in the role. Preparation here means the work you have done to understand the company, the role, and the industry before the interview. A candidate who asks thoughtful, specific questions leaves a far stronger impression than one who asks nothing or who asks about salary and holiday entitlement immediately. Strong interview questions in English include, "Could you tell me more about how success would be measured for someone in this role in the first 6 months?" which shows forward thinking and performance orientation. Or, "What do you find most challenging about leading or working in this team?" which shows empathy and realism. Or, "How does the company support the ongoing professional development of its team members?" which shows that you take your growth seriously and intend to continue developing. Empathy means the ability to understand and share the feelings and perspectives of others. Ongoing means continuing without interruption over time. You might also ask questions that demonstrate genuine curiosity about the culture and character of the organization. What would you say distinguishes the culture here from other places you have worked? Or, is there anything about the way the team collaborates or the way decisions are made that you think I would find different from a more traditional environment? These are sophisticated, mature questions that show you are thinking not just about getting the job, but about whether the job and the organization are the right fit for you. And that kind of thoughtfulness is exactly what experienced interviewers value most. Every interview at some point asks the question directly or indirectly of why you want this particular job at this particular company. And this is a question that deserves careful preparation because a weak or generic answer can undermine all the excellent impressions you have made elsewhere. Undermine means to weaken or damage something gradually. The best answers to this question combine specific knowledge about the company with genuine personal motivation. And they connect the two in a way that feels authentic rather than rehearsed. Authentic here means real and honest rather than calculated or performed. A strong "why this company" answer in English might sound like this: "I have been following the work that this studio has been producing for the past 2 years, and I have consistently been impressed by the way you balance rigorous conceptual thinking with genuinely beautiful execution." Rigorous means thorough, careful, and demanding of high standards. Execution means the carrying out of a plan or the final realization of a piece of work. The project you completed for the Cultural Foundation last year, in particular, struck me as exactly the kind of work I want to be making, and working here feels like a genuine alignment between what I am capable of and what you are trying to build. Sentences that express what you specifically can offer the organization are equally important and equally powerful. I think the main thing I bring to a team is a combination of strong technical skill and clear communication. Which means that I am able to do excellent individual work and also to explain and defend that work to clients and colleagues in a way that builds confidence and consensus, where consensus means general agreement among a group of people. Or, I am genuinely motivated by ambitious projects, and I have a track record of delivering high-quality work under pressure, which I understand is something this studio regularly requires. Track record means a history of past achievements or performance. The closing of an interview is a moment that many candidates undervalue, but it is the last impression you leave and the one that will stay freshest in the interviewer's memory. A confident, gracious, close in English sounds like this. Thank you so much for the time today. I have genuinely enjoyed this conversation, and I feel even more motivated about the role than I did when I arrived. Gracious means polite, kind, and warm in manner. This sentence is warm, specific, ending, and confident without being overeager. You might also add, I am very much looking forward to hearing about the next steps, and please do not hesitate to contact me if there is any additional information that would be helpful, which shows professionalism and follow-through. Feel free to reach out is a more casual alternative that works well in creative or informal environments. A warm handshake, direct eye contact, and a genuine smile as you leave will reinforce all the positive impressions made by your language. The combination of excellent English and excellent human presence is something no interviewer forgets. Today we covered 50 essential sentences across the most important moments of a job interview in English. The self-introduction, discussing your experience, handling the strengths and weakness questions, asking your own questions, expressing why you want the role, and closing with confidence. Each of these moments is an opportunity, and with the right language prepared, each opportunity can be used to its fullest. I want to leave you with one thought that I believe is more important than any individual sentence. The purpose of an interview is not to perform. It is to have a real professional conversation where both parties are trying to determine whether they are the right match for each other. When you approach it from that angle, and as a genuine exchange rather than a test you either pass or fail, the pressure reduces and the natural quality of your communication improves. Speak honestly, prepare specifically, and trust the English you have been building. It is there, it is real, and it is ready to represent you. Keep practicing, keep going. Bye for now.